This week we get stuck into some heavy maintenance, starting off with the wheel bearings and ending up with addressing our frame flex issues. Whoa, it is so nice to be home. Back in Nali, back with my family. You guys don't know, but we haven't been RVing for 2 months. Why? Because I started a new job and I had 7 weeks of training. So I've been training for 7 weeks and tonight was the last night. Finally home. But at least Princess and my son came out and stayed with me for a month in the hotel. It was actually pretty comfy. There was a nice room, but it's so good to be back. But first thing we got to do is get Nali some new shoes. Just the front 2 tires. When we first bought the truck, I did notice there was uneven wear on the outside of the tire. It was wearing, scrubbing, and we were just so in debt and had no spare cash. I just felt like I didn't want to go and get a wheel alignment, which is going to be the problem. But now a year later, with another 22,000 miles, the tires are bald on the outside. So it's a waste. Could have got another 20,000 miles out of the tires, but instead got to go and buy 2 new front tires and get a wheel alignment. I think the quote was $750. And then we've got some big work to do on the RV. With all the hype going on around YouTube with Grand Design and Frame Flex, those videos about Frame Flex have answered some questions that I've had about our trailer. Our trailer is heading in that direction. It's not severe, but there's excessive frame flex. We're getting the sidewall movement. We're getting things like screws backing out, screws breaking around the slides in the front of the RV. And the inside, the entertainment area, the furniture there is breaking up. We found some broken welds. Behind the speaker cabinet, there's a frame, an aluminium frame, and it's broken. Also got to repack the wheel bearings. We've been driving for a year and it only became apparent to me a few months ago. Ooh, supposed to repack the wheel bearings every 10,000 miles. And we've done 22,000 miles, so got all the gear I need for that. I just got to get it done. So now I'm home for a few weeks. I don't know how long, maybe a month even. We're going to get that done this week. We're going to address the frame flex. We're going to screw everything back together tighter. I'm going to oversize the lag bolts, and we may even have a professional look into it for us. But unfortunately, it's next year that's going to happen. And it's over near Chicago. So I got to make our Momo strong enough to keep going for another 10 months. So that's the mission for this week.
Show us your new tire.
Sexy.
Yeah.
Wow. Look how much tread
I
there is.
know, right?
He said it was possibly wheel alignment, he said, but not completely. We've got 33,000 miles on these tires, the old ones, and we never rotated them. He said you should rotate them every 10,000. And if we'd rotated that, it would have, because these steering ones always lean a bit, so they're going to wear in the corners. So you put them on the back and put the back ones on the front, and then yeah.
Pain in the ass.
Especially with a dually, it is a pain in the ass.
I know.
Because you got to change wheels. You can't just change that to the back. You got to change the tire to the back. You know what I mean? Not the wheel. Like normal car, you just change the whole wheel. This one you got to change the tire. Let's go home. Well, time has come to actually pull my finger out and do some work. We've been home for a couple days already, and after being away for 2 months, I've got a lot to do. As you can see, we've got to wash the RV, but not today. We'll do that just before we leave, before we hit the road. Today I'm going to do wheel bearings. Just got the grease seals in the mail. I've never done this job before. Watched plenty of YouTube, and there is plenty of YouTube videos on it, so shouldn't muck it up. Although one very famous YouTuber recently admitted they stuffed it up. They over-greased, and then the grease got onto their brakes and they had brake failure. So I learned from that. Thanks, Hanks. So I'm going to give it a go. I think I've got all the tools I need, and the grease is going to be a very messy job. I'm going to have to find my oldest, blackest clothing. And it's a beautiful day, so there's no more excuses. We should get it going. All right. All right, I think I've assembled everything that I'm going to need here. We'll find out if I'm missing something soon. I guess the first challenge is to raise the RV so that you can take the wheels off, yeah? I've got 2 jacks and a stand which I can use. My plan is to use the hydraulic jacks to take up most of the load, and then just stick a bottle jack under the axle, jack the axle up, put this under the axle. Maybe it's too high, we'll find out. And then remove the wheel. Let's run through what we've got. So some way of supporting your RV. Got this brake cleaner, which I'll clean up the bearings with. New bearing seals. Got a breaker bar, which I just bought from Harbour Freight for $16. First I went to Tractor Supply, $45. So I drove 20 miles to get this one for $16. Torque wrench for tightening up your lug nuts when you're complete. Torque wrench. This guy, haven't used it before. They're pretty cheap. I think it's like $7, and it is a bearing grease filler. You put your bearing inside the cups, you screw it down, there's a Zerk fitting on the end, and then you pump the bearing full of grease. Grease. I also bought, tubes for the grease gun, and the jars just for, doing some manual packing by hand. This I think was $7 or $8. It's a seal puller. Don't have to have it, but people recommend it, and I thought for $7 or $8, let's do that. Plenty of that, plenty of rags, a box to put your greasy rags in, and nice big bit of cardboard to sit on. It's probably going to get greasy. You're probably going to have to throw it away. Oh, and I went and spoiled myself. Just seemed like a big job. And I bought an impact gun. You need a pretty good sized compressor. They say a minimum of 7-gallon compressor for these guns. I've got 6. We'll see how it goes. Well, I think it's time to get dirty. All right, so, some people recommend don't use your hydraulic jacks to lift the trailer. I don't see a problem with it as long as you're safe, These jacks, there's 6 of them, they can lift this trailer clear off the ground, and it certainly makes life easier. So what I'm going to do is just take the weight off the tires a little bit. The tires won't spin just before they start spinning, so the trailer's taking most of the weight, and then we can put our jack stand under the trailer so it doesn't fall down in case for some reason there's a hydraulic failure. Never had one yet, but just to be safe. So we want manual mode. Enter manual mode, and we're going to want to lift the left side. Loosen your lug nuts just before you take the weight off the wheel, otherwise you'd never get them. The wheel just spins, That's for those who have never changed a tyre. This is obviously an excellent opportunity to have a really good look at your tyres in the bright sun, so you can see. These are looking pretty good. These are the cheap and nasty Westlakes, which Grand Design put on. A lot of people just get rid of them and buy a better tyre. But these have lasted us, well, we've done 22,000 miles. I reckon they've got another 10 to go easily if we take care of them. I think the most important aspect to taking care of your tyres is making sure they're correctly inflated. Any underinflation and these are going to blow. So, and also have the TPMS, make sure you keep an eye on that. As soon as you get any sign, pull over, because I don't really trust these Westlakes. But I can't afford new tyres right now. They look good. And obviously have a good look at your studs as well. Make sure they're all healthy. No threading. They look pretty good to me. Alright, so I should probably get some gloves on.
Now you wear gloves.
Yeah, sewer hoses I don't mind, you know, but it's organic. So first is to remove this dust cap. So I'm going to just give it a little wedgie movement. Here she comes. Yes. Okay. So that's okay. Not too much grease in there. Yeah. Right. So this one's a cotter pin. Some of them are different. They'll have like a locking cap, but it should be pretty clear how to remove it. Obviously straighten out the legs. In Australia we call it a split pin. In America it's a cotter pin. Gotcha. Be nice if we had new ones, but we don't.
Is it still reusable?
Yeah. Alright, so that just stops this castellated nut from turning. Finger tight, look at that. That's how it should be. Just a bit more than finger tight. But anyway, we'll address that when we put it back together. Alright, so I'm going to need a container to put bits and pieces. That's better. Alright, castellated nut comes off. Alright, oh no, there's the washer. Why won't it come? It's just sucked on with grease. There it is, there's the washer. I think it's the outer bearings next. But let's take the whole drum off. Oh, there's the bearing. Alright, so that's the outer bearing. And we're going to clean that up real good with the brake cleaner. And going to inspect it for any damage or pitting or rollers that are jammed. For now, give it a little wipe. Next comes the drum. And this is the rear bearing seal. And then once we remove that, we can pull out the inner bearing. So let's just have a look at the brakes here. You can see the brake pads themselves. Even wear, which is good, but they're getting along the thin side. They're a little thin. I'm thinking the next 10,000 miles we're going to have to change these brake pads. There's no sign of grease on the disc, on the face of the disc itself. Don't get any grease on here, otherwise your brakes will fail. But let's clean this up now. Really do dig having a compressor, not only to pump up your tyres, but to clean. You really do not want to inhale this brake dust though, so make sure you protect yourself. The wind, well, I'm upwind, so it should be okay, but stand back. All right. Now, I need my bearing puller. I haven't used this before, but it should be straightforward. Ah, yeah, maybe under there. That ain't it.
What is that?
I mean, it doesn't matter if I destroy it, I've got new ones, but how to get this out? So I'm going to throw that guy away. I guess I should make sure the new ones are exactly correct first. I'll leave that there. Now, be careful not to get any grease on the drum like that's threatening to. We're going to clean it up anyway, but there is the inner bearing. Oh, look, my gloves.
Where's the gloves?
I'm hopeless at that, aren't I? Alright, so we're going to clean them up good and proper with the brake cleaner. So remember, big goes inboard. Big goes inboard. Am I going to remember that? You can't fit it any other way, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so I'm slowly refining my process. Got a nice plastic bucket here that I can wash the parts in without getting the chemical all over the ground, you know. So let's get on to that. I've removed the excess grease and now I'm just going to spray everything with brake cleaner and clean it all up. And then we're going to have a good look at the bearings, make sure that they're in good shape. I'm going to give the drum a clean as well. Make sure all the grease is removed from that. That was pretty good though, I don't think I got any on. So we're going to clean this really well. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be clean enough to examine the bearing to make sure it's all in good shape. Alright, so when we pack these bearings, it's going to push all the old grease out. So we don't have to get all the grease out now. All we want to see is the condition of each bearing, of each roller. Make sure they still turn and there's no scores or nicks or damage. And this is the inner. Looks pretty good. I'm not sure that this is the best quality bearing. BRTK? I don't know, does anyone know that brand? But it's okay. It's in good condition anyway. And the other outer, same deal. Just want to check for any damage, make sure everything's rolling. Looks alright. Alright, well I think we can repack now. Get to use our fancy repacking tool. We have a Zerk nipple here, grease nipple, and a hole. There's a hole both sides. So grease will fill up the bearing, pushing out the old stuff. So we just tighten that up, make sure it's sort of level. We can tighten it up like that. And then we start pumping. Let's see how this goes. Oh, I can see the old grease coming out, see? Here comes the old grease.
Fancier.
Once it goes red, we know it's the new grease.
It is red.
Oh, it's yours red. See, mine's black over here.
Okay.
I think that's done. Let's have a look when we take it apart. There's going to be a lot of grease wasted in the middle.
Yeah. Maybe too much. Too much?
But we can leave it there. Maybe not. We're going to have to scoop that up. Alright, so it's not too wasteful because I've already filled this cavity. And then this will go on top. Oh, see, it's already come through. Well, that's the black grease, yeah.
Yep.
Looks red, doesn't it?
Yup. Oh, it's pure red.
Well, you can see in the cracks. It's like a caterpillar.
Yeah.
In the cracks, there's black, you know, so that's old. It's good. I think that's fresh now. All right. You can still see some black around the rollers there, so that's not coming out so well. See the black? Bearing. So it's loaded up, but we're going to give the outside a good coating as well, and the inside. And that's what we can use all this excess. Oh, I've got sticks in there. God, got to get rid of this stick. You don't want sticks in your bearings. All right, that looks good. That's why none of this grease goes to waste. Really, it's pretty. Can't have too much grease. Although you can have too much grease, and that's if it gets through the seal and into your brakes. You don't want that. Coat both sides in the hub and the bearing, and then we're going to sit the bearing down in there. See? Grease on, and there's more over here. God, it gets everywhere. We'll clean that up again. That's that. Next comes the the seal, the new seal. Make sure it's clean. There's sticks.
You put some oil in it, it's fine.
Yeah, on the inside it's fine. Yeah. So we're going to just place that like so. We're going to need a piece of wood and a hammer to tap that in evenly. Still up a little on this side. And of course, I just put sticks in there again, so let's blow it out. That looks good. Let's give it a wash. You see the scoring on this drum? It's not too bad. It's not too bad. No deep ridges or gutters. That's pretty good. All right. We want to coat the spindle. Last chance. Looks all right. Don't touch it. All right, here we go. Next bearing. So I bought both grease gun cartridges and tubs because sometimes it's just easier to dip your finger, and I got sticks in there again. How are sticks getting in here? And in she goes like that. Washer, nut. Now, so this is properly packing your bearings. Some service centres will just take off your hub, take off this dust cap, put the Zerk fitting on, and just put new grease. That's not the most effective way, because all the old grease is still in there, full of its nuts and, you know, bits and grit and stuff. So you want to clean out that old grease, put new grease in, and not do the lazy way of Zerk fitting only. So that's what we want to do. Now, the tightness of this castellated nut should be finger tight, and then have a feel of the friction, have a wobble. There's no wobble, and then just back it off. One, so you can get the cotter pin through the hole, and that should be all right. Cotter pin. Wish I had new cotter pins, but I don't. All right, so the hole's there. I've backed it off. I like to tuck them in just so they don't rub on the inside of the dust cover. Good. Dust cover, pretty clean, sticks. That's it. Time to put it down. Alright. Final thing, torque up your wheel nuts. So I wrote on a piece of sticky tape here the torque setting. So the trailer wheels is 125 foot-pounds. Set that up. That's one done. 5 to go. I should get faster at it though, surely. I'll be an expert by the time I finish this trailer. All right, let's get into it. Well, that was number 6. Just got to talk him up and pack up and have a beer. Wow. simple. It's just 6 of them. It takes a while. And I'm definitely an expert now, I think. And I certainly got quicker, although I got tireder, so maybe I got slower. Anyway, I know what I'm doing now. And it's easy. Really is easy. And I didn't think I'd get this dirty. These are like throwaway clothes now, man. Wow, well. What can you do? People have asked us, because we have a toy hauler, it's a big trailer, do we have any signs of frame flex? There's at least 2 empty holes. We're going to investigate if we can fill them.
Wow.
That's huge.
We've got ourselves a little problem. I was pressure washing the roof. I noticed some bubbling of the cloth roof. Turned out those bubbles were full of water. Our hitch is telling us that we're overweight. We're going to find out for sure by getting on a CAT scale. This is saying we're overweight. Once we do the calculations, we will know.